This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and any pets who happen to be listening, because they do hear a lot about it. Congratulations, pets. Are you rolling your eyes at me? If you have the ability, or whatever the pet equivalent of that is. I can imagine for a lot of you, it's twitching your nose dismissive. Are you twitching your nose dismissively? Are you waving your whiskers in a way that says, oh boy, not that podcast guy again? But maybe I help, one of your human companions, and that's an honor, because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to keep you company while you fall asleep, to be your friend in the deep, dark night. Because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a bedtime you could look forward to, a bedtime you don't have to dread anymore. Now, the show is very different. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And when I say it's different, it just takes a couple tries to get used to. This isn't like this is like talking to a friend and a friend telling you a bedtime story that you don't need to listen to, but you could listen to. A friend that's going to be there to take your mind off stuff and keep you company and say, hey, there's no pressure to fall asleep, but if you do fall asleep, that's great. A friend that'll be here over an hour for you. So give it a few tries, see how it goes. Structurally, what we got coming up here is we got the support. That's how the show comes out, free twice a week. Then there'll be a long, meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And then there'll be a nice little bedtime story about how great pets are, or how great they could be at being there for you. So it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And here's a couple of ways we're able to do it for free twice a week. Hello, everybody. My name is Lorraine Kuzak. Welcome to Thoughts and Things. This is a premier retail experience for brainbots and people looking to purchase things related to thoughts and things. That's what we have, thoughts and things here. It is actually a premier, retail experience and concept that we're working on here at the Kuzak Institute of Instituting. I'm a member of the Kuzak family. You may have worked with us before and or heard from us. Some of my siblings, including Reginald Kuzak, I think, is the one who's appeared most times on this show, the most times. But I've been asked to talk about thoughts and things. And also, Scooter said, mention what a brain bot is. We don't exclusively sell items for brain bots, but, we are the only imaginary, non-existent purveyor of things for brain bots that we know of. So I would call ourselves the premier place as well. And especially that we're not just a store, we're a retail experience that doesn't exist. And concept, we exist conceptually, but we'd also be presenting it as a concept and a retail experience. So I think we would use a different term because retail experience just sounds a little clinical. Like you said, then there's going to be fluorescent lights, right? Oh, no, not there. In fact, maybe we would even have some sort of lamps. I don't know. Gas lamps have fallen back out of style. But that's what I would have, even a month ago, I would have said we'll have gas lamps. But we'll have some sort of conceptually we have the concept of a gas lamp. But welcome. Oh, what's a brain bot? That's what I was supposed to cover first. And what's a Kuzak family member? Oh, that's so funny. I'm a member of the Kuzak family. Now, not the same family as the famous Kuzak. Like, we are the famous Kuzak in sleep podcasting. I would say within the sleep podcasting sub niche of people that listen to Sleep With Me, within the sub niche of people that are familiar with the episodes containing the Kuzaks, I would say, we're some of the famous Kuzaks, not John or Joan. And you could say that you're no Joan Kuzak. I'd say, you're right, I'm not. I'm Lorraine Kuzak. I'm here to tell you about brainbots. We develop things for Sleep With Me podcast, or we work with Sleep With Me podcast on clothing lines and different things. We say, okay, well, we can make that sleepy too. We'll work with you, Scooter. And it was not long ago, only recently, that Scooter said, what about a place called Thoughts and Things? And we said, I love it. I did. I said, I love Thoughts and Things. It has a certain ring to it, if you don't mind. There's a ring to Thoughts and Things. Makes me want to sing. Or go ding-a-ling-a-ling. And hear Justin Timberlake say, bring it on down to Thoughts and Things. But so a brainbot, though, is Scooter's, it's a metaphor, but not just a metaphor, of the different parts of our minds, our bodies, our spirits, our feelings, our physical sensations that activate at bedtime. And they usually they're unifunctional typically, or that's the best way to describe them. So you may have like to create a super unifunction. What if there was a raincoat or a umbrella brainbot? And you would think conceptually, if we were designing it here now, or if you were designing it at some other place, a normal retail store, not a premier concept store, but even if we were designing it, you'd say, okay, so it's a brainbot that gets an alert about the weather. And when it rains, before you leave your home, it says, by the way, bring an umbrella or bring a raincoat or bring both, or we already have an umbrella in the car. So don't forget your raincoat or your, galoshes or whatever it is. But that wouldn't be a brainbot. That would be a daybot or something, or, a reminder. A brainbot would await until you get into bed, probably more than likely in a non-rainy season. And it would start off in an inane way. You'd lie down. You'd also have other brainbots functioning at the same time, competing for your attention. But this rain brainbot, a brainbot named Rain, would say, do we have an umbrella? That's how usually they're pretty good at opening stuff with a reasonable question. That's one of the brainbot's skills. Seems totally logical to ask you that as you're trying to fall asleep in a non-rainy season. It could be rainy, though, again. But a lot of times these brainbots, they activate, they may be from... They may be, so it says, hey, do we have any umbrellas? And he's saying, good question. You're darn right, it's a good question. I don't think we have any umbrellas. Well, we might. Okay, well, where exactly is the umbrella? Well, I think we got one on the shoe rack, jammed underneath it. Then there's one, it didn't fit in the trunk, so I bent it so it would fit in the trunk. That might be there. And there's probably a couple in the, most of them are broken, but they're functional. They're around. Oh, really? And then it still may have a next reasonable follow. Well, I was just wondering what the top-rated umbrellas were, top-rated on, what, I don't know, maybe we should open 12 tabs. We'll start with Wirecutter, Consumer Reports, and then, see what else comes up in the search. I'll tell you what, I can see by the way you're looking at me. We'll just go 5 tabs deep. Not the top 5 after Wirecutter, when we'll search it, and we'll pick out what looks good. Maybe watch some YouTube videos on it. That way, we have a good idea of what's top and maybe top rated and best value. I don't know. Maybe we should order some umbrellas is what I'm thinking. Okay, but it's like 11:30. I got to be up at, I mean, just trying to do you a favor. You know, at some point it'll rain. I don't know if you knew that. And I don't know if you can feel what I'm feeling, but I mean, imagine what it'd feel like with a top rated umbrella in your hand. Okay. Yeah, but it could, I mean, maybe I could do this tomorrow or something because, I mean, you could, but, I mean, I don't know if you remember this, but there's been a lot of times you've been caught. I mean, like, let's just say what if you needed an umbrella and, like, you came across someone, you know, there's a lot of times where you needed if you had the perfect umbrella, you'd have the perfect opportunity for the perfect umbrella. Okay, but, I'm just trying, like, I mean, and it would just be a shame, you know, because there's like, I think there's even windproof ones. There's probably pocket size. I mean, remember, the other thing we could check is like people were fans of, you know, that different, like people, writers, that travel writers, you know, Craig that travels through Japan, I'm thinking of, probably they have an umbrella list. I mean, I wonder what research they do for their umbrellas. Okay. Yeah, but, could we do this tomorrow? Because I've got other thoughts going through I mean, I don't know. I mean, be pretty you know how it feels when you're soaking wet, right? And you say, okay, so that's a small brain bot, and that's one without really any emotional juice behind it. Most brain bots also have emotional juice created to the past or the future. This one may say, I mean, maybe this one would be more of a future-based brain bot with its stakes. So I'm just saying, if the love of your life crossed your path in a rainstorm and you don't have, that's fine. I mean, we just go to bed then. I mean, don't worry about it. I mean, I'm sure the umbrellas you think you might have somewhere that maybe functional be fine. I mean, or like a giant maybe there's some sort of opportunity. Like maybe Meow Wolf does call you and they say, well, we do want it. You say, I mean, it'd be good to have an umbrella in that situation if it was, you know, just in case. But I mean, you can live your life. I mean, you're doing a great job so far. I'm just saying that wouldn't take long. And I mean, then we wouldn't have to, you would never have to think about it again until, you know, I'm here to keep you alert about this stuff. It's just my job. Now, the other thing about the brain bots is they usually aren't that's a pretty neutral one that I'm describing because it's obviously Scooter let me know these people are going to be trying to fall asleep. A lot of times they're making emotion, what we would call emotional noises that you could describe as bleeps or blurps or droning. I think the term that I just invented, maybe apt, emotional klaxon, would say most brain bots have the ability to amplify an emotional klaxon to let you know that you should be more concerned about this than you are. And there seem to be remnants. Now, that one, you may say, well, what would Freud say about it, an umbrella brain bot? And you'd say, okay, well, let's not go there. But you'd say, sure, I could see that maybe it's linked to some other memory or just the sense of, I don't know, is that a thing of like wanting to be a provider or some sort of feeling of having some power and some control over the weather and fate. And then, of course, like maybe a little emptiness to say, well, having a top-rated umbrella in my hand, oh, boy, is that going to make me feel... Now, you don't usually get to this point where you say, won't that make me feel satisfied for 1 or 2 moments? So that's what a brain bot is. Now, Scooter has designed his podcast to be somewhat entertaining. Now, we don't have anything bad to say about brain bots. That was just a description. And normally Scooter would then say, you know what? You're doing a great job with these umbrellas. I'm glad you brought this to my attention. But I've brought in a storyteller to talk about something that's like a conceptual retail concept experience. But we don't have another word for it that's flashier about for things like you, like brainbots. And it's specially designed. It's called Thoughts and Things because we know, one thing about you brainbots you're good at. You're good at connecting with feelings, emotions, physical sensations. You got that emotional klaxon that create. Do you know how to spell klaxon? I don't think I do. Klaxon or something. But it connects with people. Usually that has some somatic effects. We love it. But we're here to present just to you, Umbrella Bot. You mind if I call you UB? UB, Umbrella, Bella the Brella. We're here to talk about thoughts and things. I want you to come on in. Welcome. Believe it or not, we have the pleasure of welcoming you in, Bella, to our brand new state-of-the-art. I don't know, I don't know if you could call it mid-century modern or, but let's just say come in and see some mid-century modern. I think Scooter would say it would be Art Nouveau. But, oh boy, so this is how, from the outside you see it and you say, oh, I can't wait to get in here. What do you have here in Thoughts and Things? And I'd say, well, we have sections, and let me take you over to a section I think you're going to like. Now, the biggest section we have, and you saw our window dedicated to, we have the windows. And currently, we have one window dedicated to sand toys. We always do. I know I could see you looking longingly. Now, it looks like that's perpetual motion, but that is, behind the scenes. We could even show you how it works. We do have that sand that's draining down, going through that funnel, then it goes through the whirly bird type, Ferris wheel. Thank you, Bella. It looks like a Ferris wheel. And then it goes through like a circular swirly slide. Then it goes through those that water wheel thing. And then it drains down. Now, what you don't see is, there's more sand in the bottom. But the sand drains down the bottom and then gets recycled back out the top. And there's other sand, yes, falling on the other sand toys. And the giant hand shaking back and forth with the shells and things. But yeah, that's our sand. But I want to take you to our section that I think you're going to like because it's when you think about when I think about Bellas and Brellas, sometimes then I think about the Bellas from those films. But there's no singing and sleep podcasts, so I can't do that. But I think about then we think about Tinkerballa from the Guild, but I also think about wind. Sometimes there's wind and rain, and sometimes there's wind, and sometimes there's rain, and sometimes there's something in between. But when I think about if I was a brain bot that had such experience with rain and weather, I would think I'd want to take you to our kite section. Because it's a very interesting section here. We have a lot of different kites. And but this kite, I think, is a kite. When I look at you, Bella, I think about a kite with a long tail. And not just a long tail, a tail that looks like, in like a lot of our products here in Thoughts and Things, handmade. And I don't just mean handmade, I mean handcrafted, from concepts to concept, because it's still in the concept phase. But as a brain bot, that's where most of this happens, in between the old ears, eh, Bella? And so I'm thinking of a kite, but what I'm really thinking of is the tail of the kite for you, Bella. Like a kite tail that looks like it's either handkerchiefs or not rags, but different pieces of fabric tied together to make a kite string. And every fabric is a different color, like this kite here. So, and maybe we even do it Roy G. Biv. So we have red first, and then an orange, then a yellow, then a green, then a blue, then an indigo, then a violet, and then maybe even then we have a clear one. You're right. I don't know if any clear cloths, but we could figure, here at the Institute, it's conceptual. And, I'm no kite expert. I've heard of kites called box kites, and I've seen kites that look like octopi and things. Like this will just be a simple kite that you could say this kite contains you could probably use this kite on a SAT or if there was a standardized tests, because I'm sure there's brainbots associated with standardized tests. This brainbot would contain multiple triangles, right? It's a diamond pattern. So just a simple traditional kite. And, what's your favorite color, Bella? No one's ever asked you that, huh? I mean, if you could make an umbrella a color for you, not for Scooter, but for you. Oh, red. Okay. So a bright red, huh? Okay. So I'm thinking a bright red kite then with that Roy G. Biv rainbow, tail coming off it. Oh boy. And that's what happens in our kite section. Now, you might be interested in some of our other sections. You'll also notice the other window. Oh, the Venetian blind window. To be honest with you, Bella, I have no idea why they call them Venetian blinds. Now, someone in my family, I'm sure, does. They could say, well, it's the history of, actually not Venice in Italy. It's, they might say something like that, but I'm not a blind expert. I'm blind to the history of blinds. But I think you really enjoyed the display. Now, to be honest with you, those are not actually blinds that are doing our Venetian blind display. They're triangles rotating, because that's how you saw. And one of them actually rotates to a video screen, which created some of those special effects that maybe would draw people into the store. And then particular ones where we show like action going on behind the imaginary blinds. Then there's ones that look like a setting of the sun and the moon and stuff. And then there's ones pretending then instead of shadows, you're actually seeing right through them. But that is one of our other display, which you'd say is confusing to people. They say thoughts and things. You have a window with blinds, but it's more of an experiential window. And then you have a window with sand toys. And I say, yeah, you're right. You're right about that, Bella. Holy cow, are you right? Now, what about this last window we have, which is one of my favorites? And one of the key concepts is now, at first you might not notice with the first two windows because they don't have awnings. Believe it or not, it's just city code. And that's, you say, we're in a conceptual city with conceptual city code that prevents awnings on this particular streets. But since we're on a corner, we go around this corner here. And on this street, you're allowed awnings. And because if you're looking at the building, it's not distracting because you can't see the other two windows from here. And so it isn't out of taste. But this is our window that's covered with a striped awning. And we're particularly happy with those luminescent pink and white stripes we have for that awning. And this display, yeah, you're right. You're really soaking it in, Bella. It is costumes On the one side is people dressed as pets and pets dressed as people, which we thought was fun because people do dress their pets up as people. So we do like to ease people into it. So in the foreground, it is kind of simple. There's a gentleman dressed as a cat. Or a man. These are we do call these now that's what you got to stick really around for, Bella. These are animatronics, and there's an animatronic show. But this, that is a person dressed as a cat with a cat dressed as an astronaut. Now, technically, if you really want to get into the backstory, that is an astronaut dressed as a cat. But and then on this side is a dog dressed as a cab driver. And it's pretend. I mean, it's all pretend, but the dog is pretending to drive the car. And then a cab driver dressed as a dog in the back of the cab. And then in the back, we have a bear dressed up as a trainer, and a trainer dressed up as a bear. And they're about to do a show. And they'll sing songs. We're still working on the ideas, but Scooter said there has to be an animatronic show. So that's those are our windows. I know you seemed very interested in that. Now I want to take you into the back of the back of the store. Just follow me along. And I want to show you a couple special sections. Now we wouldn't be we wouldn't be in this city, and we wouldn't be 10 years behind the times if we didn't have a secret. It's not a speakeasy, but a secret lounge. That's one of the things that is popular. But we see, brainbots, one of the theories Scooter has about brainbots is that, hey, make them a part of. Everybody wants to be a part of. Brainbots are already good at being seen and heard, but they're not, even though they're round, no one puts their arms around them. And so we figured we'd design this lounge, which we just, you actually go through this old-fashioned television, which does show, there is a couch here, and this is its own lounge. You could just sit here and watch these shows. It's mostly, like Scooter says, that he'll, eventually one day pick what's going to be displaying on the television, probably old commercials and stuff like that. But, we just move this TV here, and you could come right in, and this is a nice little lounge. And, not everybody imbibes in adult beverages, but Scooter loves having brainbot treats, candied, warm milk, what do you say, stuff with zinc or melatonin or whatever whatever the latest trend is. And so this will be where you could come in, hang out, have a drink, have something to relax, maybe have a snack, use the restroom, and you will get credits because you say, well, how does this work? And you could come from the outside. There is a door that you can get entrance from the outside to just become part of the lounge and pay. But just like the famous Kohl's Cash that Scooter's talked about before, he modeled it after Kohl's Cash. He says that's the cash, other than Disney dollars, the other currency Scooter knows about is Kohl's Cash. And Scooter does it, like said, it worked on him once or twice, where you buy something and they say, this is some Kohl's Cash. It's only good for, it's not good today, but it'd be good for between, 3 days from now and 14 days from now. But this stuff is good today. So, if you spend a certain amount of money, you get a certain amount of, I don't know what we'll call them. Maybe what do you think about brain bucks? Brainbot bucks? Would BB-88 be on one of them? But yeah, we'll give these away with purchases, and we think it'll be popular. We also have bean bags. Scooter insisted on that, or poofs. So that's another thing we have. Now let's go over another section, which is, again, now these are concepts. So this one is going to be a very different But these are called, we're calling them cauldrons, but some of them are bowls, and there's even a pond and a well and cauldrons that you could just stare into. Now, these, you could take them home with you, but we found that doing some studies of brainbots and working with Scooter, that sometimes not just Scooter can entrance brainbots, but staring at stuff can. If it's generally, so each of the surfaces of these cauldrons and each of these cauldrons, we're going to use that as a general term, because I know some of these are bowls or ponds or other, instruments with liquids in them. Each of them has different liquids and different things are happening, but it's always going to be somewhat kinetic. So we have stuff like, have you ever thought about what if you're looking at that one, it's kind of like a lava lamp, but you're looking at it from above. Now, if you step back and press a button, the cauldron goes from cauldron colored to transparent. So now it's a clear cauldron. And so it's not technically a lava lamp, it's a lava cauldron, not actual lava, obviously, Bella. But, and then we have other ones. So there may be other clientele, right, that come in and they just say, man, but you could take this home. So we're hoping that maybe they'll say, what is that, man? It's a lava cauldron. I pass my time looking at it, man. But it is not just for people that are celebrating the 4th hour and the 20th minute, or the 4th month and the 20th day. But people that are enjoying, they just say, I like to stare slack-jawed at things. We've just found that's one of the Venn diagrams with thoughts and things. It's strange enough, if you're staring at something that's not that interesting, sometimes your brain bots and your thoughts go quiet. And so we have other ones. Now, some of these we've tested out. We don't have all of them down. But hopefully there'll be like a non-repetitive, interesting things to look at. You're right, Bella. Like music visualizations of the aughts. Was that the greatest time for staring at visualized music on your monitor? It may have been, huh? Oh, I see you looking over here. Yeah, this is an interesting section. It is a bit, now these are, there's a couple different things here. Now this is again, based on, Scooter speculations, but, again, and maybe we just charge for you to come in. So these are, yes, different types of telephones and even tin can phones. Those are the ones I saw you looking at. Now what's exciting about this, is our ability. Now we would like to, at least on the tin can phone, have it be able to connect to someone live. Also, one of the phones will connect back to the lounge, and the person working, running, making the drinks and preparing the food will answer, and you could place an order with them, but just over the phone. And they'll talk to you. But there's other phones that have different recordings, but we could also make this into somewhat of a interactive game. But this was because we Scooter said, let's get a bunch of phones. So there's rotary phones. And one of the other things we're thinking about is a teen phone challenge. That's why we have this phone booth here with a rotary phone in it. And there's a high opportunity. This is actually also a photo booth. So it is based on a vintage phone booth, but it has a photo booth built into it, or you could take selfies. But so you could bring someone that's from a non-rotary generation, which, to be honest, is most people. And, but brainbots don't always have, you're mostly bots. But we think that would be fun to try to use a rotary phone. Maybe I was just thinking out loud, that would be the only way you could order, like, if you were able to do so many numbers in a row and get a hold of the operator, then you could connect to the lounge and place a free order. But we could call it the phone zone, huh? That would be fun, the phone zone. So this is another section that's interesting. Yeah, this is a whole nother room. Welcome. And again, based on what we've learned about brainbots and staring at stuff, and this is, we call it laundry on a line. This is our laundry on a line section. There's chairs, actually on the other side of the laundry, which you can't see. And we don't, you're right, we don't just have laundry on, there's laundry on a line, but there's laundry on that spinning around thing. We do have, this is like one of those indoor-outdoor areas. We have the fake sky. Now, that looks like a fake farmhouse with a porch that you can sit there, but that's actually our one of our restaurants. And you could sit there and order a lemonade or an iced tea or another drink and just look at the laundry. But again, Scooter would say that the laundry maybe would put on its own show eventually. He said, I think this is going to be groundbreaking. Have you ever heard of singing animatronic laundry? And we said, well, that's what Scooter wants. Scooter said brainbots are going to like it. And he said, what about laundry? Is there any laundry-based illusions? We always, there is a thing with Scooter of laughing with him and laughing around him. And we said, tell us more about these, he said, is there laundry illusionist? We said, not that we've heard of, but it's possible. So you're saying a shirt turns into a skirt. And he's saying, I'm saying that exactly. They're saying, okay. So the brainbots would sit here and look at laundry, drying. And he'd say, for a while, but then other things may occur. Random, but not at any, he said, I don't know. Let me think about it. But yeah, we do have, this is meant to be evocative, of course. There's a picket fence over there. And he even thought about, well, what if people want to, he goes, I don't remember reading those books, but I remember that, didn't Huck Finn or Tom, whatever, paint a fence or something? And we said, so you want people to be able to paint a fence, Scooter? He said, maybe the brainbots would like that. We said, okay, it's possible. And so then beyond that, now we're still in the indoor-outdoor section. And this is what he calls his piece de resistance. And this is another thing about the laundry, because you may be taking laundry or leaving laundry, because this is the bog beyond there, the mud bog. And this mud bog is based, and I said, Scooter, are these brainbots mechanical or electronic? And he said, they're conceptual. And I said, okay, so tell me more about your bog concept then. And this is based on his great, one of the greatest, you think people live full lives and they have their ups and downs and their priorities in order. And Scooter said one of his biggest disappointments in life was the only mud bath he ever took, which was not a mud bath like the Brady's took in the Brady Bunch or whatever. And they said there was a Brady Bunch where they took mud baths. And he said, that's not my point. My point is I took a mud bath at a place that had mud baths, and it was a bark bath. And I said, are you sure you didn't take a bark bath, Scooter? And he said it was a mud bath. First of all, it was a couples thing, and they separate you, and you just go, they have separate lock. The whole experience is separate. And he said, secondly, you get in a thing, and he goes, it was warm, but it was a bark bath. It was not a mud bath. It was mostly bark-like material, and I said, so you don't want that? He goes, no, this is an opportunity to make mud pies, to sit in the mud, to lay in the mud, Or he goes, it looks like a bog, but over there, that's an actual mud hot tub where it's the type of mud, which we've had to design, of course, because, but, we worked hard at it, and it's just a concept, but it's idealized mud. And it is a mud tub that you could sit in. And we're still exploring, all the things, what we're going to need to make it work. But you could sit and finally, and like getting the right temperature and everything. But you could come over to this section and hang in the mud tub, build a mud pie, play with the mud. Now, we won't have mud, where you could toss mud with one another, but that's another thing if you were renting this out for a birthday party or something. And I know what you're thinking to yourself, Bella, like, how does this, we say thoughts, this does not seem like the store I would expect at Thoughts and Things. And I understand that. Now, let me take you up to one more section that's really exciting. Like I said, there is a restaurant there. Now, we have another restaurant which will be rotating, which I don't have time to show you right now because it's not ready. But that will be like a Kmart cafeteria. But it'll be restaurants that don't exist. This will be like a pop-up, in some sense, a past pop-up, where it'll be like a Kmart restaurant or Bob's Big Boys or whatever it is. But initially it'd be like based on menus at the Kmart that you go to. But up here, another thing, now we are in the city here, and this is, so we have a great spot for you to sit on the second floor, and we have it now on the corner and on both sides. And we're designing different type sitting areas where you could people watch, but also do other things like waving. Scooter's a big fan of, like standing up on places and waving at people and smile. He says, that's when I'm most extroverted, when I'm far away and I'm people watching, and it's the strange to have a stranger waving at them, but it's also an environment where it's okay. So we'll have a waving area. And did he ever tell you about the time, or were you there actually? Because you would have been handy. I think he was at Pinocchio Village House, and he was trying to get people. So there's a window at Pinocchio Village House that looks out at the what's that called? It's a Small World, and he was trying to get people to kiss their biceps. I knew he was trying to get him to do something else too, but he would, so every boat he would see how many people he could get to kiss he would kiss his biceps, and then he would see if anyone on the boat would also kiss their biceps, or a bicep. So we're hoping for a section like that. We don't have It's a Small World here. It'll just be the city. But this would be expected behavior. Again, you could maybe earn a wooden coin, bicep kisser. If you're kissing your biceps, now I know you'll say to me, I don't have biceps. I'm a brainbot. You do. Trust me you have biceps on the inside. And if you're kissing your bicep on the inside, Bella will know it. They'll know it. And, I don't know if that's a spiritual bicep, but it might be. Another thing we have, that we're excited about, and a lot of people would say, like, how did no one think of this already? Because this is an idea that's been around, something similar, but never in this way of utility. And this is, again, a section you'll be able to rent out individually. But Scooter says this is perfect for brainbots, too. Now, you've heard of things like, I don't know what they're called, paint a ceramic frog, or a statuette, or a holiday ornament, or drink a bunch of wine and paint paintings. Those are different activities for children or adults that you do at like a shopping center or mall, or even here in the city. This one is a lamp, design your own lampshade or paint. Now, maybe painting a lampshade is one thing. We also have lampshades that you can do that have some wax on them, and you can do wax scratching. We have lampshades you could make with perforated metal. We have a 3D printer for lampshades. So very, very customized. And you wear lampshade hats while you're here. And we think this is going to be the hottest thing within this, thing where we are. And we also have we're going to be purchasing used lampshades. So the decorations of the room, as you could see, within your mind are, we have so much variety of lampshades covering the walls and the ceilings, lampshade chandeliers. We also have retrofitting kits so you can make your lampshade work. And because we feel like talk about missed opportunity, lampshades, there's a missed opportunity, huh? And so what an opportunity to redirect your energy and say, well, there's so much more I could be doing with lampshades in my personal areas that I would have never thought of. And now I'm designing a lampshade for my Nana. Now, we normally don't recommend it. Now, we do have pretty decent pricing. So if you wanted to make a paper-painted lampshade that says, I love you, Nana, you could. But we also sell lampshade covers. So then Nana could cover it in a more, or, you could also do a separate lampshade that's a little bit more of a Nana style. Now, I think that's kind of it for our tour today, Bella. It's really been exciting. I mean, this is just some of the things we have here. I did want to give you a beret, though, as a official, our first official customer. You'll have to pay for the beret to be our first official customer, but you could just pay me in future reminders of you needing an umbrella at the appropriate time during the day would be great. But that you take this beret and you use it because I say now this beret is made from wool. So while it is not 100% waterproof or rainproof, it is good for the rain because it'll retain your heat. It will wash some water off of it, but I think it's an excellent opportunity for you to. It's a beautiful color. It's a beautiful red, just like you said with the kite. You would prefer the kite over a beret. Well, okay. Well, let me look into that because we had this beret. It even has on the inside. It says Bella's beret. And it's not, I told Scooter this is not raspberry colored, so he cannot see. And then he said, what about, could we get the rights to that song for the animatronics? And I said, Scooter, there's no chance of that. So that's a little bit about, now this is like an ever expanding concept. So maybe one day you could return here, Bella. But it's a store designed just for, it's Thoughts and Things. I'm glad you came and visited Thoughts and Things. And that I could take you through some of our ideas that we have here for the future. So thanks for visiting Thoughts and Things. And good night, everybody. Hey, this is Scoots. I wanted to thank some of the people that recently stopped becoming a patron, just because a lot of times people, priorities change or they stop listening to the show or things go on or, they just no longer decide to be a patron, but that doesn't change the fact it's a huge help. Also a huge help when people cancel their Patreon versus letting their card expire and never canceling it. It really is a huge help. I'm so thankful for it. So let's go through some of the people that recently left. Sarah, thanks, and good night. Chris, thanks, and good night. Jessica, thanks, and good night. Becca, thank you, thanks, and good night. Rebecca, thank you, thanks, and good night. Barbara, thank you, thanks, and good night. Casper, thank you, thanks, and good night. Brian, thank you, thanks, and good night. Carrie, thank you, thanks, and good night. Andrea, Thank you, gang. Thanks and good night. Renee. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Miguel. Thanks and good night. Christopher. Thanks and good night. Abby. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Nita. Thanks and good night. Jeremy. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Patrick. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Russ. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Krista. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Kai. Thanks and good night. Marian. Thanks and good night. Kiefer. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Sharon. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Tony. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Shelby. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Abby. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Jara. Thank you. Thanks and good night. SG. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Melanie. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Addison. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Coco. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Aaron. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Tiffany. Thanks and good night. Laura. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Sierra. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Catherine. Thanks and good night. Giovanni. Thanks and good night. Michelle. Thanks and good night. David. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Samantha. Thanks and good night. Becca. Thanks and good night. Miriam. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Courtney. Thank you. Thanks and good night. Tristan. Thanks and good night. Benjamin. Thanks and good night. Cake. Thanks and good night. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for supporting the show. I really appreciate it. Totally understand that priorities change or people stop listening to the show. But I really did. It was like, oh, wait a second. I didn't thank people that canceled their pledge because maybe you're still listening or maybe you moved on or there's a lot of people that listen for a little while. Then things change in their lives or whatever their sleeping patterns. Then they come back. So this is cool. But literally we couldn't do it without the people that wouldn't be this podcast that existed yesterday without those people. And that is what carries the show forward. So the show wouldn't exist without those people that supported him. So thank you so much. And I couldn't do it without you. Thanks to everybody that currently supports the show as well. Either on Patreon or Apple Podcasts or support our sponsors. And thanks to everybody that spreads the word for free or spreads the word about podcasting. That's a huge help as well. So thank you so much and good night, everybody.